In general, Western travelers and missionaries persisted in seeing signs that the Yoruba people were descended from the ancient Hebrew. Okay, so this is the name of the book here, guys. The Lost Tribes, a Myth. Suggestions towards rewriting Hebrew history by Allen H. Godby. Okay, guys, now here we are on page 255. We're gonna see if we can learn something very important. Okay, so there's a man that calls himself Bishop Matthews in this book. Let's see what he claims about the Negro race. Bishop Matthews claims that one or two groups of his peculiar organization are among the sectaries in Abyssinia, and that there are other Negro synagogues in America whose organizing impulse came from Abyssinia. Abyssinia, I believe, is in Ethiopia, guys. But he does not specify them. He has gained many American Negro members. As for himself, he says that his grandfather was one of the black Jews of Nigeria. Damn. He was carried to what? Saint Christopher's in the West Indies. This is during the transatlantic slave trade he's talking about now. There, Bishop Matthews' father and himself were born. So he was born in the West Indies. And then he came to America 16 years ago in 1913, guys. That's over 100 years ago. And has mastered the English language since. Okay, so let's see what Bishop Matthews, this man who claims to be a descendant of the black Jews of Nigeria, let's see what he says next. He says thus: Bishop Matthews claims an immemorial Jewish ancestry, but since that ancestry is Negro, it follows that the Negroes were the original Jews. Okay, very important point right there, something that everyone needs to hear from this Bishop Matthews, who claims to be a descendant of the black Jews of Nigeria. Okay, so let's talk about who some of these black Jews might be. Okay, we're going to page 245 in this very same book. So here's what it says right here. These Yoruba Jews claim that their ancestors were driven from oasis to oasis by Muslim persecution, not finding rest even when they reached Timbuktu. It suggests that these ancestors may have been of the Dagatons, still scattered along the trade routes west of Timbuktu, or of the vanished Jewish kingdom of Kanuri, or of the later trading colony of Lamlon. At present, they number about 2,000 people in 20 little villages and call themselves by the Hebrew name B'nai Ephraim. They have copies of portions of the Torah kept in a most holy place, but their social life is not Torah controlled. It is that of the fetishist neighbors. Basically, what you are reading here, guys, is about what I would call the last remnants of Yoruba people who still kept the laws of the Torah, guys. Okay, the last remnant. Okay, and even them, based on this book, even them, they were not keeping it to the degree that they should be anymore. Okay, this is what happened from generation to generation, as it is prophesied in the Bible. Our people began to forget who they are. Meaning in every generation, less and less people remembered their heritage. They continue to discontinue from their heritage from generation to generation. And here in this book that you're reading right here, you are reading about the last remnants, perhaps, of Yorubas who remember that they are Israelites. That's what you are reading about in this book, guys. Okay, and apparently they were fleeing Muslim persecution. This persecution, as I will show you in a different book, comes from Arab persecution. Yes, the Arabs. Okay, there were so many Arab invasions that came into Africa that involved communities where brothers and sisters who were keeping the laws of God, who were reading the Torah, they had their books destroyed, they had their materials destroyed, and they were forcibly converted into Islam, guys. Okay, very powerful stuff. Look at what this map has for us in this same book, guys. The Lost Tribes, a Myth. In this map, you're going to see Yemen Jews, Falasha, Berber, Moorish, and Negro Jews. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, since we're talking about the Yoruba people, we are gonna go into Nigeria, guys. Okay, this is where you can find a lot of Yorubas. So I want you guys to see this map right here, guys. As you can see, this red ink that you're seeing all over this map, guys, These are the traces of Jewish customs that they found in many parts of Africa. This entire map covers West Africa. Everywhere you see this red ink, guys, these are elements of Jewish practices. Okay, you see many different tribes that had elements of Judaism and, you know, connection to being the Israelites. Okay, so in this book right here, I want you guys to look at Nigeria, and in the region where we have the Yoruba lands, in the southwestern region of Nigeria, look at what you have right there. Benai Ephraim. Okay, the word Benai means son, so sons of Ephraim. Ephraim was one of the two sons of Joseph. If you guys remember, in the book of Genesis, Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers. While in Egypt, he became second in command. He married a woman there in Egypt, and then he had two sons. Okay, the first one was a son named Manasseh, and then the second one, the younger of the two, was a boy named Ephraim. So that is who these Yorubas here in Nigeria seem to connect with. They claim to be descendants of Ephraim. Okay, now if you look at the northern parts of Nigeria, because you can clearly see Nigeria right here, Nigeria, that's Nigeria. You can see within the houses there, you have Levite cities written there, guys. Okay, that is telling you that the Levites, when these colonizers came into Hausa land, they saw a lot of cities, a lot of customs, a lot of practices, a lot of people who claim to be descendants of the Levites, guys. The tribe of Moses. Okay, one of my personal favorite heroes in the Bible, guys. And you can see it right there in Hausa land. Over here you have the Nupe people. Some people might call it Noops. Sometimes I call it Noops, but it's actually Nupe. And you can see Levite cities also there too. Okay, so that is telling you that these people in these regions, they are Israelites, guys. Okay, and they seem to claim to be of the Levites. Also here in the northern section of Nigeria, you have the Fulanis. Those people, there are also other books I can show you that tells us that the Fulanis are also descendants of Israel as well, guys. Okay, so yeah, one thing you need to know is that the researchers that write all these books, they don't know everything. Okay, they cannot go to every single ethnic group. So if your tribe is not on this map, that does not mean you are not an Israelite, guys. These are just the ones that they found. These are the ones that the colonizers who came here, they found evidence that these people had a connection to the Israelites. Okay, so if your tribe is not on this map, don't let that discourage you. If you are a Negro, you are an Israelite, guys. Okay, very important point. Here is where the homie is. The Ashanti are here and they are finding Jewish traces. The homie Jews, Jewish traces. Oh man, so many things we found here, so many. So let's not forget, guys, on this map, even though I didn't show it before, if you zoom into this map that shows the Jewish traces of West Africa, you can see Santomé here. What did they write there? Santomé Jews. Okay, so those people of Santomé that you might be seeing as Negroes, they are Jews. Okay, don't disrespect them. They are the brothers and sisters of the Negro race, guys. They are Negroes and they are Jews. They are Israelites, guys. Okay, very, very powerful stuff. And here we can see Mavumbu Jews, Loango Jews. Oh man, there's so many, guys. So many. Okay, so check this out here, guys. This page shows Negro Judaism. Okay, and we see a picture of two men. Okay, let's see who this man is on the left, and then this other guy right here on the right. Okay, let's see what we can read about him. On the left, this man right here is named Rabbi Hailing Hank Leff, or Bishop A.W. Cook of Montclair, New Jersey. So this is an American Negro right here, guys. And let's see what he claims. He announces that the Negroes are the only real Hebrews, okay, or the only real Jews, which is what he said. So let's see the guy on the right. This man right here on the right, his name is Bata Kindai Amgoza. Okay, so this man right here, he's a what? Look at it out here, guys. He's a Yoruba Negro Jew. Here he is, of Benai Ephraim, of southern Nigeria, so southwestern Nigeria to be fair, but that's it. Yeah, a Yoruba Negro. Okay, very important stuff. Black Jews in Africa and the Americas by Tudor Parfit. Okay, this book is not that old, guys. I think it was published in 2013. Yeah, 2013. It's not a very old book, but this book has a lot of references to books that are much older, which is why I actually like this book. Okay, so here we are on page 39 of the book. Many scholars know who we really are, guys, but they don't want us to know. Okay, so let's see what this book says. What quite he had in mind with respect to the possibility of Jewish influence here is unclear, although elsewhere his descriptions of Yoruba traditions and customs are peppered with biblical ethnographic allusions. In general, Western travelers and missionaries persisted in seeing signs that the Yoruba people were descended from the ancient Hebrews. You see that, guys? These people, they know who we are. They just don't want us to know who we really are, guys. Okay, it's time for us to reconnect with our true identity, our true heritage, guys. We are not Gentiles, we're the Israelites. Let's see another page. So here we are on page 117. You guys need to see this stuff too. The similarity of Jewish and Yoruba religious praxis, I'm not sure what that is, I'll put it on the screen, was stressed in 1899 by another Yoruba clergyman, Reverend James Johnson. This Johnson wrote a catechism for young Yoruba Christians that specifically pointed to the similarities between the Yoruba and Jewish practice and helped to internalize this thesis of Israelite origin among the Yoruba people. Okay, so here we are now, guys. Same book. We're on page 133. Let's see what this book says. The claims of the Inadad in Mali, who claims descent from King David, or traditions in Uganda claiming an ancient lineage of 33 kings going back to King David, or the Ethiopians whose claim goes back to King Solomon, or let's see some other people that also claim to descend from the lines of the Israelites. Listen to this, guys. Or the Igbos, the Tutsis, the Maasai, the Yoruba, or some of the Yib clan in Somalia, or of the black Jews in different parts of the United States, evoking very ancient Ethiopian, Middle Eastern, or Israelite ancestry, guys. Okay, very, very powerful stuff. It's time for us to wake up, guys. This book here mentioned a few. If your own ethnic group is not here, but you are part of the Negro race, you too are an Israelite. Let me make that clear. You are one of those ethnic groups that exist within the Negro race. You need to know that you are the true Israelites, guys. Okay, the world is hiding this massive secret from you. Okay, this is actually the biggest secret in the entire world. The world and all these Gentile nations, they have used their Gentile religions, whether it's Christianity or Islam or any of the other ones, to cover our eyes, guys. Okay, those other religions, those philosophies, other beliefs, those are the gross darkness that we read about in the scripture, guys. The gross darkness that has covered the people. Okay, it's false religion, Gentile religion, guys. Okay, no Negro, not a single Negro on the earth today should be part of any of these other religions. No, you need to come back to your true heritage as the Israelites the Bible speaks of, guys. That's who we are. Okay, so this is page 11. We're going to read a lot in this page, okay, but I'm going to try and make it as fun as possible. I'm going to read from right here. Listen to what it says here, guys. In these fragmentary glimpses drawn from a variety of sources, we can see that the Jews were considered to be black, to have a number of African physical qualities, and that is true, guys. I've showed you guys in other books that the Jews that were in London, they were swarthy and they had an African look, guys. Okay, so yeah, they definitely had African physical qualities, and ultimately to have a good deal of what? African blood, because they are Negroes, guys. Similarly, black Africans in the 19th century and before, in a vast and extraordinary number of cases, were taught to be Jews because the Jews are black. And indeed, to have both Jewish characteristics and to be descendants from the ancient Israelite stock. From the medieval times to the present, Jews have been taught to have black blood in their veins and to have a number of African physical and other characteristics, including an African nose, an African proportion, talking about, you know, the boobs that our sisters have, the butts that our sisters have, and other features that are unique to the Negro race specifically, guys. Okay, and of course an African skin color. Okay, open your eyes, guys. They know the Jews had all these things because the Jews are the Negroes are the Jews. Okay, oh man. Similarly, over the same time span, in a long-running discourse about black Africans, were assumed to have Jewish blood, Jewish characteristics, Jewish looks, Jewish abilities, and Jewish habits. The supposedly Jewish origin of some black African communities were taken to explain a wide variety of hard to understand African customs and beliefs, which were assumed to be predicated upon Jewish customs and belief. Often, colonial officials and missionaries imagined that various African languages were connected with Hebrew, Aramaic, and other Semitic tongues, guys. Okay, all these languages that we are speaking, whether it's Yoruba, Igbo, many of these languages, they are not Gentile languages, guys. They are derived from the ancient languages that the Israelites may have been speaking, because I'm sure our languages has changed over time. Okay, and frequently they would maintain that they derive directly from the Hebrew. Yes, okay, this is something that the world knows. They're hiding from us, guys. Okay, but it's time for us to wake up. Now listen to this very important stuff from here, guys. Such identifications were made out of a genuine desire to comprehend the seemingly impenetrable customs, religions, and languages encountered on the colonial frontier. So when the Caucasians were coming to colonize Africa, they encountered a lot of people that had customs and traditions that were very similar to what the Israelites of the Bible had, because the people that they were encountering, the people that they were enslaving, the people that they were colonizing were the Israelites. Okay, crazy. Ethnographers, missionaries, and colonial civil servants and travelers time and time again maintained that African tribes, including the Xhosas of South Africa, the Maasai, the Yoruba, the Shona, the Igbo, the Zulus, the Hottentots, the Tutsis, the Ashantis, and many more, practiced Jewish customs, spoke partially Jewish languages, and were of Jewish biological origin, of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, guys. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here. It's time for all of us to wake up and realize that we have been lied to by our Caucasian slave masters, our Caucasian colonizers, guys. Okay, and these books cannot mention every single ethnic group. There are thousands of ethnic groups within the Negro race, guys. It will take forever to mention them. These tribes you are seeing here, especially the Yorubas and the Igbos, we are amongst the three largest tribes, not just in Nigeria but in all of Africa, guys. That's why you would see a lot of books that mention the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Hausas, especially those three. You see a lot of books that mention them. Okay, in this one here, it doesn't even mention the Hausas, but yes, the Hausas are part of these people. They are Israelites as well, guys. Okay, along with many other ethnic groups within the Negro race. It's time for us to wake up, guys. Okay, it's time. Check this out, guys. Today there are millions of black Jews, Israelites, or Hebrews, most of them at least partially Christian in Africa. Okay, come out of Christianity, guys. And the same thing for Islam as well, because we have many of our Hausa brothers who don't know that they are Israelites. In Islam, their identity is hidden from them. They think that they are Gentiles. They are not Gentiles. You are the Israelites. It's time for you to wake up and come out of these things. Okay, so they are partially Christian in Africa, in Europe, and the Americas, who practice some aspect of Judaism or have some kind of Israelite, Jewish, Hebrew identity, and who in most cases believe they are descended from the ancient Hebrews. Okay, the Negro race. I'm gonna make this clear. The Negro race are the Israelites of the Bible. It's time for us to wake up, guys. It's time. Okay, it really is time for us to wake up. Please hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going to be releasing many of my videos earlier on my Patreon page, so if you guys want to see all the videos that I will make, I highly recommend you go over to my Patreon and donate as little as $1 to get early access to my content before they show up on YouTube. Okay, so guys, that is it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.